I am currently stuck in an elevator. It's been roughly 16 hours now since the elevator stopped, and I don't know what to do anymore. Several times, I have contacted the 24/7 service number printed on the inside of this elevator, but they've been no help at all. Neither have my parents nor the police. By posting this, I'm hoping to get some advice or just people to talk to. Maybe even an explanation for what's happening. I live on the fourth floor of my apartment building, and I usually take the elevator to get there. I got home pretty early from my classes today around 1 p.m., entered the elevator, and, as usual, pressed the button to the fourth floor. Everything was normal, except that between the third and fourth floor, the elevator stopped. Obviously, I was annoyed and called the number of the elevator company that I mentioned before. It's actually not the first time I got stuck in this elevator. 2 years ago, the same thing happened, and after maybe 40 minutes of waiting, an elevator mechanic freed me. Back then, it was no big deal, so I wasn't really worried about it yesterday. I'm also not afraid of elevators, despite having had a few recurring nightmares involving them, which, thinking about it now, is pretty odd. Over the phone, I told the customer service person my address, and he assured me a mechanic will be there within the next 30 to 60 minutes. Luckily for me, the Wi-Fi signal of my apartment is strong enough to be used from inside the elevator, so I decided to pass the time by browsing the internet. After an hour and a half of waiting, I grew impatient, and to be honest, a little worried. I wondered if they forgot about me or maybe got my address wrong, so I decided to call the same number again. Now, this is where things start to get weird. I was speaking to the same person who answered my call earlier. His name was Davies, and told him that no mechanic had showed up. However, he insisted that he does not remember my call from an hour ago, and that my case was not stored in his system. He apologized for any inconveniences and again promised that a mechanic will arrive within the hour. Another hour passed. It was about 3:30 p.m. now, and still no one arrived. At this point, I was starting to get furious at the elevator company and called them for a third time. Again, the same person answered, and again, he did not remember me. My heart began racing. Does he have that many customers that he simply doesn't recognize my name or voice, even after the third time? Is he just pretending he can't remember me, and purposely not sending someone for some reason? I demanded to speak to his boss, but he said that he was currently alone in his office. I demanded that he stayed on the phone with me until a mechanic arrived, but he told me he couldn't do that. So once more I waited, and once more no one came. At this point, I've been stuck for almost 4 hours. It was time to call the police, because the elevator customer service was useless. Immediately, I recognized the voice of the 911 operator. It was the same person I had spoken to during the last 3 phone calls. I thought to myself that this was impossible, that it must just be a man with a similar voice, but nonetheless, I was growing more concerned. I played it cool and explained my situation. He said that he would send someone to my location, but they never came. Every minute, I was getting more worried and nervous about the whole situation. How is it possible that no one is helping me? I tried calling my mom, but she won't answer her phone. I've texted and tried to call my friends, but the texts I sent are marked as unread. Emergency services seem to forget or ignore me. I fell asleep at about 9 p.m. for maybe 3 hours, but I can't sleep anymore. Right now, the clock on my laptop shows 5:21 a.m., and I'm still in this small, dirty elevator. It's not even big enough for me to fully stretch out my legs. The light is cold and dim. The brown, windowless walls feel suffocating. I stopped using my phone because the battery was getting pretty low, and now the same thing is happening to my laptop. There are no noises coming from outside. Just silence. It seems like no one is in the building at all. Did nobody try to use the elevator since I got stuck? I have no idea, but it seems unlikely. I feel helpless, and I don't know what to do. I'm not even sure where I am anymore.